Hi, my name's Heather. This is just a vlog. I am a late diagnosed autistic and ADHD human with hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and maybe myasthenia gravis. Who knows? I spent a whole day in the emergency department this week. They wanted to admit me, and I kind of wish I'd have let them, but I had a meltdown at the end of the doctor's visit and left and went and cried my way back home. So I woke up Thursday morning, and Wednesday night I had felt very, very tired. I even remember saying I feel like I've been drugged, like my muscles and everything. I always have fatigue, but this was like way beyond anything I've ever experienced before. And woke up Thursday morning with my left eyelid drooping and eyebrow drooping. It was down kind of like this. It's better now, but it was a little concerning, given the other symptoms that I had going on. So I called my doctor's office that morning, when it didn't get any better, when I went to work, and I told them the things that were happening, and of course they assumed stroke. And I even said, that I'm not having a stroke. I'm coherent. I can speak. I know the signs and the symptoms of stroke, and this is not stroke. I just wanted to know, should I come into the office? And they're like, no, you need to go to the emergency room ASAP. So, like a good girl, I followed orders and went to the emergency room and spent 8 hours there. Of course, at the ER, they were also concerned about stroke, and they did an immediate stroke eval, which, I tried telling them again and again, it's not a stroke. And one of the intake docs was like, well, we want to make sure it's not Bell's palsy either. I said, it's not Bell's palsy. I can move my face. But then they started asking other questions, like had I had trouble swallowing lately, which I have. I've actually had an issue the past several weeks where just out of the blue, I will drink some water and my throat just like closes up and says, nope, we're not doing that. And I have to like spit it out, or food. I'll be midway through a meal and feel like I just can't chew or swallow anything else. So, that's something that I wasn't putting together with the droopy eyelid, but one of the symptoms that led to a neurologist consult, and after mucho blood testing, a head and chest CT scan with contrast. So the head and chest CT came back clear, and the consult with the neurologist was great. She was actually very thorough, asked me a lot of questions, and put together some things, like I said, with the droopy eyelid, the kind of confusion, the extreme muscle fatigue, like not even being able to lift my arm up, my eyes feeling like they were just going to close no matter what I did. Very dangerous to drive myself to the hospital, by the way, but I did. And so she definitely thinks myasthenia gravis, and I need to go to her office to get further muscle conduction studies, nerve conduction studies, and an MRI, which don't know where that money's coming from. But let's talk about the meltdown I had at the end of the appointment. That was the fun part and the embarrassing part, and the part that I haven't been able to stop thinking about for several days now. So the visit on a whole actually went pretty well, as ER visits go. I don't have a lot of complaints. The staff was great, and my only thing was I really could have used a support person here for this, because I was already struggling as it was. I made a list of everything, the symptoms that I had discussed with the doctor, and brought those in with me to the ER, and each person that I had to repeat it to, each doc, each nurse, each specialist, I had to grab that list so that I didn't forget anything. And that's something I've just learned over many doctor's appointments and many specialists, to write things down, because I am bad about connecting symptoms, especially when I feel like crap all the time. And I'm bad about remembering to tell them about symptoms that I think might be nothing or not connected, but may be. So at the very end, the doc that had been treating me in the ER came in and said that, they couldn't force me to stay, but that she wanted to try to admit me, based on the blood work results, and that they wanted to try to do an MRI and get some more testing done ASAP. but did not really express like the urgency. Again, she said it was kind of my option. At that point, I had been there so many hours. I was exhausted. I was worn down, and I really just wanted to go home. And the way it was kind of portrayed to me was, you know, you can stay here and have an MRI, or you can get with a neurologist and schedule an MRI later. And, you know, in my mind, I'm like, well, we'll just do that another time. But no less than 5 minutes after I had made that decision and just talked to the doctor that I did not want to stay, the admitting doctor for the next floor came in and just started grilling me about all my symptoms again. And I was very confused. I'm like, well, you know, I didn't have my list with me. And I said, well, I've already kind of told everybody all this. It should be in my chart. You should have plenty of blood work to look at this point. And he's like, yeah, but I'm asking you. And I said, I understand that, but I've had to repeat myself a lot. You know, my understanding was I was just getting discharged now and everything. There was, you know, nothing conclusive, no stroke. I'm good to go home. And then he starts asking me about, could I eat a steak? Would I be able to cut up a steak and eat it? And I was like, if I cut it in really small pieces, yeah, probably, because everything I eat in really, really small pieces. And then we just went on with some other questions, and I reiterated that the neurologist I had spoken to said that she felt like it was myasthenia gravis, and that she wanted to do some additional testing for that and blood work that would not be available for several days, that they would have to send off and get done. And he said, no, you don't have that. It's not that, because that's why I asked you about the steak. You said you could eat a steak, so it's not that. And something in my brain just flipped. I was like, so a neurologist who actually deals with that condition fairly regularly made the supposition based on my symptoms and blood work and testing and things of that nature that she thinks it could be that, but you, guy who I've seen for 2 minutes, asked me a question about steak, and so that's not it. So that put my hackles up, I think, and made me defensive. If I'm being honest, defensive. Because I do have some medical trauma. I've been to a lot of specialists who made me feel like I had no business being there, even though I didn't ever come there voluntarily. I was referred by another doctor. I don't know if you can hear my voice right now. It's very gravelly, and that is also one of the symptoms, is voice changes. But that could also be from laxity from the hypermobile disorder, which he also tried to like question that. I'm like, I have a diagnosis. He said, well, no, put your thumb back like this and do this. And I said, sir, I'm not going to do party tricks to pacify you when I already have a diagnosis and I know that doing these things is going to hurt me. So no. And I would like to just go now. And at this point, I'm in tears. I'm so angry, so frustrated, tired, hungry, upset that I just start crying and I can't stop. And that's when the meltdown hits. And that's the part that I hate so much. The meltdown is the part that makes me feel like, okay, now this doctor, these nurses, they all think I'm hysterical. I wasn't capable of intelligently speaking. So I just, kept saying, please, can I just go now? Like, I really needed to get out of that room, and that would have been a great time to have an advocate, or somebody who could say, look, she's already made the decision and she's ready to go. But without that, I have to be a better advocate for myself. So yeah, another medical instance where I broke down into tears. And again, the whole visit was not bad. Everybody else was great. And, this doctor wasn't even bad. I guess he just was trying to do his due diligence before he admitted me to his floor. And I get that, but it was the way the questions were asked and the tone with which they were asked and the dismissiveness of things. And it's like, why are you even trying to admit me if you are dismissive of all? I don't understand. Just let me go home, please. I'm fine. But all that aside, I came home and spent the rest of the night mulling over that scene and how it had gone poorly and how it reflected poorly on me, on my emotional outburst, my meltdown. And then the next morning, I am able to view my results. my blood work and was shocked at how bad it was, and that they didn't tell me certain things. If anyone would have said, hey, these results came back and said that you may or may not go septic within the next 12 hours and we need to monitor you. Or these results came back and this is something we specifically do for DVTs, deep vein thrombosis, and we need to do additional scans on your extremities, I would have stayed. But none of that was explained. And at the end, I just wanted to run. I just needed to get out. So now I have to make an appointment with a neurologist and get in to see my doctor as soon as possible because, again, those blood results, in addition to the ones I just popped up on the screen here for you, were pretty bad. So I'm going to take it easy, and I'm just out right now getting some water because I don't have any. And just giving you guys a little life update. If you don't hear from me for a while, or all you see are little short, funny videos, you know, support those two, please, because that's the best I could do some days. And I think that might be it for me for a little bit. I don't know how much getting out and filming and good thinking I'll be able to do in the near future. But I guess I'm glad I'm not in the hospital and I'm home and I'm alive, so there's that, and I don't know, maybe another diagnosis on the way, who knows, we'll see. But thank you for hanging out and listening to my little tale of woe, my little meltdown. I hate it when that happens. I feel very incapable once I hit that point of advocating or being a representative for myself, of speaking up confidently for myself. And making good decisions about my own health care. Because I was not in a position to make any good decisions about my health care then. And like I said, had I been fully informed on the results of test work, I probably would have made different decisions on the continuation of care that day. Also, if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you very much. But I wanted to, again, reiterate, if you haven't seen the other videos or posts about it, I have created a fundraiser for the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network, and the goal currently is $1,000. It's through GoFundMe, and all proceeds go directly to the Autism Self-Advocacy Network. They are our voice, especially here in the United States. In government, they help petition and speak up for us as lobbyists as necessary, and issue statements on behalf of the voices of the people that are members of this. And you could join as well. I'll put a link to them in the comments, and a link to the fundraiser as well, so that we can help support them in letting our voices be heard where they need to be heard. And I appreciate you very much for joining me for this video. Wish me luck in future doctor visits. I hope you're all doing very well and taking it easy yourself. Stay away from the news if you need to. Keep your circle small if you got to. Stick around those that support you. All right. Love you. Bye. I'll see you in the next one.